Tonight, breaking news as we come on the air. The major hurricane just upgraded moments ago to a Category 4 now set to hit the U.S. just a short time from now. They are warning that this could be catastrophic. Also breaking tonight, the mayor of New York City indicted. What he's accused of doing. The images coming in tonight, this monster storm taking aim at Florida. Authorities warning of a life-threatening storm surge up to 20 feet. Heavy rain, flooding, and powerful winds moving in. Hundreds of thousands without power already. Tornado watches and warnings across several states. They're warning of catastrophic flooding. Ginger Z is live in the storm zone with the newest track of the hurricane. Whit Johnson in Florida. This will then travel across several states. Also tonight, the political scandal erupting in New York City. Mayor Eric Adams indicted on federal charges. The first time a sitting mayor of New York City has been indicted. What he's accused of doing, what he's saying tonight, will he stay as mayor? And tonight, who might be interested in the job? At the White House, Vice President Kamala Harris with Ukraine's President Zelenskyy. Her promise to support Ukraine against Vladimir Putin if she's elected. And what former President Donald Trump said about the future of Ukraine. The starkly different messages tonight. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu now in New York preparing to address the UN amid deadly new attacks in Lebanon. What he's now saying about a U.S.-backed ceasefire plan, rejecting the idea. The lacrosse players rushed to the hospital tonight. Tufts University launching an investigation. Those players now recovering after serious complications after a workout led by a Navy SEAL. What happened to their bodies? The condition tonight. Deadly deli meat, the listeria outbreak. A 10th person has now died, a patient in New York. This outbreak across 19 states. Heartbroken fans tonight saying goodbye. After 57 seasons, the A's take the field for the last time in Oakland. Some of the fans collecting dirt from the field. Also tonight, what authorities are now saying about COVID here in the U.S. and how you can get free test kits for your family. And America Strong tonight, the officer, the sudden stop, what he saw in the middle of the road.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening, and we begin tonight with Hurricane Helene, just upgraded to what they're calling now an extremely dangerous Category 4 hurricane, set to make landfall just a short time from now. Already 130-mile-an-hour winds. Take a look. Damaging winds up to 20 inches of rain in places. Tonight, authorities warning of potentially catastrophic storm surge. This is the satellite at this hour. The eye of the hurricane about 120 miles west of Tampa. Its outer bands lashing Florida for hours now. The monster storm has been gaining strength. It's moving fast. There are tornado watches across several states and flash flood alerts. They stretch from Florida up through Georgia and the Carolinas. The National Guard moving into Crystal River, Florida, in the Big Bend area where Helene is expected to come ashore. Tallahassee tonight, a ghost town, shops boarded up, people heeding the warnings with this hurricane now moving in. In Cape Coral near Fort Myers, a possible tornado roaring through this backyard, leaving, of course, a lot of damage behind. Torrential rain drenching this Orlando neighborhood tonight. The waves crashing onto the Howard Franklin Bridge. This is across Tampa Bay right there. That bridge now completely shut down tonight. Our team, of course, across the storm zone tonight, and we begin with Chief Meteorologist Ginger Z. She's in St. Petersburg with the latest track of this hurricane. Ginger?
David, that Category 4 hurricane has now passed Tampa Bay. It's obviously more than 100 miles to our west-northwest. Look at that dock behind me, just getting rocking and rolling. That peninsula has been overtaken by water. We've had offshore winds all day, but now it's shifting onshore. And this is where around here, 4 to 8 feet of surge is nothing compared to what they're going to see when a Cat 4 makes landfall in just hours in the Big Bend of Florida. So tonight, let's talk about the tornado watch first for most of the state of Florida, up through Georgia and South Carolina. Those little spin-ups will happen, have two ways of getting warnings. But that core of the storm moving right through North Florida, Big Bend, in the next few hours into Georgia overnight. This is going to happen fast. And you see those hurricane warnings go up to Macon. You do not see that every day, where you'll have hurricane force gusts easily taking down trees and power lines. We expect widespread outages. Those tropical storm warnings up to Asheville. Storm surge is the biggest loss of life and property, and around here it's 4 to 8 feet. But we saw with the Dahlia, which was a way weaker storm. Crystal River, just an hour or so north of us, they took on 7 feet. Easily could get in that 8 to 10 plus. 10 to 20 feet is moving cars. It's taking homes off foundations. It is unsurvivable. So Steinhatchee, Keaton Beach, all the way down to Cedar Key. I'm so concerned in the next couple of hours. I hope everyone's gotten out because time's over. This is it. It's happening. And you can see those wind gusts. Those will be easily 100, 120 plus. I'm sure we'll see those extreme wind warnings happening by the time it makes landfall. And then it's going to cruise across Georgia. You know, western South Carolina, Augusta there, 63-mile-per-hour wind gusts early tomorrow morning. And then it'll wrap up and go into the Mid-South. But before it does so, you have excessive, and I mean extreme flash flood threat in southern Appalachia. We're talking 12 to 18 inches. That'll be historic. David.
Incredible reporting, Ginger. Stay safe, and we thank you. Whit Johnson is in Tampa tonight, where they are bracing at this hour for this possible storm surge.
Tonight, gaining strength, size, and speed. Massive Hurricane Helene slamming ashore in Florida. Conditions deteriorating in Florida's Big Bend. Storm chasers hunker down as waves batter the coast in Carabel. Some areas bracing for up to 20 feet of storm surge. Millions also under that tornado threat. A possible twister obliterating this backyard in Cape Coral early this morning. FEMA officials watching the storm's track as it bears down.
Right now it looks like it's a dead-on hit to Tallahassee.
The capital city of 200,000 bracing for potentially the worst hurricane conditions on record. High winds and storm surge prompting authorities to shut down multiple bridges in the Tampa Bay area, including the Sunshine Skyway Bridge.
This is the very popular Bayshore Boulevard, and as you can see, even before the storm's arrival, the water is coming up and over the seawall, moving into the neighborhoods and threatening homes.
Tampa resident Rob Pokrifke watching the water rise.
It's definitely worrisome. I mean, the majority of the storm surge hasn't even shown up yet.
After hitting Florida, Helene expected to stay a hurricane as it hurtles inland. Georgia calling up the National Guard.
We have route and debris clearance teams already postured throughout the state.
Some parts of North Carolina bracing for up to 20 inches of rain on top of already saturated ground. Fearing floods and landslides, the National Weather Service warning this could be one of the most significant weather events in history for the area.
And David, we're really feeling these hurricane-force wind gusts, and as you can see behind me, the water is rising in the bay. Up to 8 feet of storm surge expected here for Tampa. Plus tonight, high tide doesn't even happen until long after dark while people are sleeping, making this expected flooding even more dangerous. David?
Yeah, the surge very concerning. Whit, you and the crew, please stay safe as well. Thank you, Whit. The other major story tonight here in New York City, the political scandal erupting. New York City Mayor Eric Adams indicted on federal charges. This is the first time ever a sitting mayor of New York has been criminally charged. He's accused of taking illegal campaign contributions and luxury gifts. Mayor Adams defiant tonight, saying he is innocent and a victim. He claims he's being targeted for speaking out about the surge of migrants in the city. And tonight, the mayor is insisting he will not resign. Here's our senior investigative correspondent, Aaron Katersky, tonight.
Tonight, something never before seen in the history of America's largest city. The sitting mayor of New York, Eric Adams, indicted, charged with bribery and fraud, accused of accepting more than $100,000 in gifts and illegal campaign contributions from Turkey.
Mayor Adams took these contributions even though he knew they were illegal. And even though he knew these contributions were attempts by a Turkish government official and Turkish businessmen to buy influence with him.
Federal agents arriving at Gracie Mansion, the mayor's official residence, before dawn, seizing his cell phone. Prosecutors say Adams engaged in a years-long conspiracy to solicit illegal foreign campaign contributions from Turkey. And they portray a mayor who traded the tough city streets of Brooklyn for a globe-trotting life of luxury, accepting more than $100,000 worth of gifts from Turkey in exchange for official favors. Prosecutors say Turkish officials plied Adams with business-class travel and stays in high-end hotel suites.
Year after year after year, he kept the public in the dark. He told the public he received no gifts, even though he was secretly being showered with them.
According to the indictment, when the mayor's staff member once asked a Turkish Airlines official where Adams could stay while visiting Turkey, the official replied, 4 seasons. It's too expensive, the staffer responded. What does he care, said the official. He's not going to pay. His name will not be on anything either. The mayor's staffer replied, super. Prosecutors charged that in 2021, Turkey asked Adams to return the favor and use his political influence to pressure the fire department to open the new Turkish consulate in Manhattan.
Some of the people at the FDNY thought the building had so many issues and defects that the building was not safe to occupy. So the Turkish official sent word to Adams that it was, quote, his turn, unquote, to support Turkey. And as we allege, Adams delivered and pressured the fire department to let the building open.
Tonight, Adams proclaiming his innocence and portraying himself as a victim, saying he's being targeted because he spoke up about the influx of migrants in New York City.
I think we should ask the federal investigators and prosecutors who gave the directive to take the actions that we are witnessing right now.
But U.S. Attorney Damian Williams says politics had nothing to do with it.
We are not focused on the right or the left. We are focused only on right and wrong.
Adams now facing multiple calls to resign, but he says he's going nowhere.
Who's going to deal with the business of running the city? The point person is Eric Adams. I'm the mayor of the city of New York.
The mayor is scheduled to be arraigned tomorrow. David, you heard him say he is not going to resign. The governor does have the power to oust him from office. She has not said, though, tonight whether she would use that power. If the mayor does go, who might replace him? Sources tell us, David, one person interested in the job, former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo. He resigned his office after a sexual harassment scandal. David?
Aaron Katersky on all of this tonight. Aaron, thank you. Meantime, tonight here in New York, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu arriving in the city, preparing to address the UN amid these deadly new attacks in Lebanon. And what he's now saying tonight about a U.S.-backed ceasefire plan, he's now publicly rejecting the idea. Ian Pannell in Beirut.
Tonight, videos online showing massive airstrikes in Lebanon amid a rather public dispute between the White House and Israel. The Biden administration and others floating the idea of a 21-day ceasefire.
And I would add that the statement was indeed coordinated with the Israeli side.
But within hours, Israel calling it the opposite of the truth. And in New York tonight, Israel's Prime Minister doubling down. Netanyahu saying, "We continue to hit Hezbollah with all our might. We will not stop until we achieve our goals." But here in Lebanon, it continues unabated, softening the ground for a potential land incursion. And while the world focuses on Lebanon, more strikes, death and suffering in Gaza and the West Bank. In a rousing speech at the UN today, Palestinian President Abbas with a strong message for Israel.
We will not leave. We will not leave. We will not leave.
David, despite this confusion at best, disagreement at worst, Netanyahu will leave America with an aid package worth $8.7 billion. It remains to be seen if it gets any kind of peace process in return. David?
Ian Pannell in Beirut again tonight. Ian, thank you. This evening, Ukraine's President Zelenskyy at the White House is meeting with Vice President Kamala Harris. Her vow, if she's elected president, that she will stand with Ukraine against Vladimir Putin, and what former President Donald Trump said about the future of Ukraine in the last 24 hours. Here's Mary Bruce.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Tonight, with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy at her side, Vice President Kamala Harris declaring that she will remain steadfast behind Ukraine until it defeats Russia.
I've been proud to stand with Ukraine. I will continue to stand with Ukraine, and I will work to ensure Ukraine prevails in this war.
It comes after former President Trump refused to say in the ABC News debate whether he wants Ukraine to win the war.
Just to clarify in the question, do you believe it's in the U.S. best interest for Ukraine to win this war, yes or no?
I think it's the U.S. best interest to get this war finished and just get it done.
All right.
Negotiate a deal, because we have to stop all of these human lives from being destroyed.
Trump says if he's elected, he could negotiate an end to the war in 24 hours. But Zelenskyy dismissing that claim in a new interview, telling The New Yorker Trump doesn't really know how to stop the war, even if he might think he knows how. With this war, oftentimes, the deeper you look at it, the less you understand. Zelenskyy also attacking Trump's running mate, Senator J.D. Vance, as too radical for floating a plan that would allow Russia to keep the Ukrainian territory it's captured and block Ukraine from joining NATO. Today, Harris saying that's exactly what Vladimir Putin wants.
These proposals are the same of those of Putin. And let us be clear, they are not proposals for peace. Instead, they are proposals for surrender, which is dangerous and unacceptable.
And now Trump taking aim at Zelenskyy, saying he's the one who refuses to end the war by not making concessions to Russia.
We continue to give billions of dollars to a man who refuses to make a deal, Zelenskyy. There was no deal that he could have made that wouldn't have been better than the situation you have right now.
And Trump just announcing he will be meeting with Zelenskyy tomorrow morning at Trump Tower. Meanwhile, Kamala Harris will be here in Battleground, Arizona, focusing on immigration. Of course, another top issue for voters. David.
Visiting the border, Mary, and while we have you, there's another moment making news. You know, former President Trump has repeatedly questioned whether Vice President Harris actually worked at McDonald's. He did so again today. The vice president was asked about this, and this is how she answered.
Because your opponent almost every day seems to be talking about this. So I just want to ask you yes or no. At any point in your life, have you served 2 all-beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun, working at a McDonald's? Yes or no? That's it.
I have.
Okay. Now the other job. But
it was not a small job. Like, I did the fries. I mean, yes.
Okay, for a small period of time. But then let me ask about a big job.
But to your point, if you don't mind, before you get to the big job, there's a part of the reason I even talk about having worked at McDonald's is because there are people who work at McDonald's in our country who are trying to raise a family. I worked there as a student. I was a kid who worked there trying to raise families and pay rent on that. And I think part of the difference between me and my opponent includes our perspective on the needs of the American people and what our responsibility then is to meet those needs.
Mary, would seem the vice president clearly proud of her time at McDonald's and looking to turn the attention to the workers who actually depend on these jobs to support their families.
Exactly, and Harris trying to use this experience to argue that she understands working class Americans in a way she says Trump never will. David.
Mary Bruce with us again tonight. Mary, thank you. We do have a note on the economy tonight. A new record set in the stock market today. The Dow jumping more than 260 points. The S&P 500 closing at a new record high for the 42nd time this year. Investor optimism lifted by a new report showing unemployment claims falling more than expected now, pointing to a steadier labor market. When we come back tonight, the lacrosse players rushed to the hospital after that workout led by a Navy SEAL. Tonight, what we've learned about this and the deadly outbreak being linked to deli meat in a moment. Tonight, Tufts University says it is investigating after a dozen players were injured during a 45-minute workout led by a Navy SEAL. The players have been treated for rhabdomyolysis, a potentially life-threatening condition that can cause muscles to actually disintegrate. Tonight, the final 3 teammates are now out of the hospital. The school has hired 2 independent investigators. Tonight, we also have news on this deadly listeria outbreak linked to deli meat, a 10th death now being reported, a patient in New York State. At least 59 people have been sickened in 19 states. The outbreak has been tied to Boar's Head products, including liverwurst. When we come back here tonight, what health officials are now saying about COVID here in the U.S. and how you can get free test kits for your family. And they were collecting dirt on the field. Heartbroken fans tonight saying goodbye to a famous team. To the index of other news tonight, with the CDC warning cases of COVID are now on the rise, the Biden administration is again providing free at-home COVID tests. The CDC says cases are climbing, of course, with people now back indoors during the fall. To request free test kits, you can go to covidtests.gov. The Oakland A's have played their final game at the Oakland Coliseum. Heartbroken fans getting one last look at the ballpark. Some fans and players, in fact, collecting dirt from the field. The A's beating Texas 3-2. After 57 seasons, the A's will now play in Sacramento before they move to Las Vegas. When we come back here tonight, the officer this evening, the sudden stop, what he saw in the middle of the road. Funny tonight here, the officer asking, what is that in the middle of the road? The Discovery, America Strong. Tonight, the officer and one very unlikely traffic stop. In Rochester, Michigan, north of Detroit, Officer Brennan Flanagan saw something in the middle of the road, something small, and suddenly the police rescue. It was a little kitten, and the officer was determined to save her. Officer Flanagan took her to the vet to get checked out. He learned that she was okay, a little eye infection, and she does not have a microchip. So Officer Flanagan decided he'd adopt a new little partner. Right here tonight, reporting for duty.
Hey David, Officer Flanagan here, Rochester Police Department, with my new little friend.
Sending us this video of her, yawning, doing well, but he's asking for the public's help tonight with her name.
We asked the community to kind of help come up with names. I think we got it down to a top 3 of Lucky, Shadow, and I personally like Spooky because Halloween's coming up, and as you can see, it's a black kitten.
Tonight, Officer Flanagan and his new and unexpected partner.
What I hope the public takes away from this is no matter how small of an act you complete, it can really have a big impact, and that's what I hope to provide for this little kitten right here.
No question about that, Officer Flanagan. We appreciate it. Lucky, Shadow, or Spooky, Let them know what you think. I'll see you tomorrow night. Good night.
Thank you for making World News Tonight with David Muir, America's most watched newscast.